Welcome to the Author Next Door,
where we talk writing, publishing, and the business behind the books.
This podcast is for writers who are a few steps ahead into the journey. Maybe you've published, maybe you're planning what's next, and you realize the questions aren't getting easier. They're just getting more interesting.
Sometimes it's just our fabulous selves. Sometimes we bring friends to the table, but it's always lived experience and information you can use.
So pull up a chair. The conversation starts now.
Welcome to episode 67. I'm Angela Haas, and I'm here with my co-host, Cassie Newell. And this month, it's Anything Goes, where we talk about anything we want. Today, we have a special guest that I probably met him first, Cassie, but
I think so too, yeah.
We met on Threads, which makes him a friend. Yeah. And he is thriller author Marc Avery. And I'm going to read his bio exactly as it is. Ready? Bookworm, RoboCop fanatic, crime fiction novelist, writer advocate, taco enthusiast, legendary introvert, Philly. That's who we have. Marc, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem. I am now going to tell my grandchildren that I am a special guest.
You
I
are.
could have an award here somewhere, but yes, thank you guys.
Thank you. So we just kind of dive right in, but tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you get to where you are at this point? Were you always a writer? Was that something you were always interested in?
So it's probably as far back as I can remember, like back to like seventh grade, and I still talk to my seventh grade teacher to this day. Her name is Miss Turner, and we had to create a fake city. And I'm a Sixers fan, always have been, unfortunately. And at the time, we had a guard, and he had a sneaker deal with Feli. So I called my fake city Philadelphia because I'm a glad punishment. And after that, I just always wanted to just create stuff of my own. And when it was time for me to write the book, I want to say I was 21 when I self-published my first book. That was an adventure. So I thought it'd be necessary to produce the sequel of that book. So I had a duology. Then I had the great idea to start a publishing company. That was interesting. I wish I could elaborate. So I have the publishing company, I have the two books. It's not really going anywhere, and it's tough to manage other writers. Not manage them, but like kind of like the expectations of like what happens after this work is created. So at some point I changed my name to Marc Avery as a pen name, and I went out on submission, and it took me a really, really long time to not only find my writing voice, but to actually get noticed enough for us to even get the deal. Because I submitted to my current agent and she turned me down. But it was a blessing in disguise because I used all the stuff she said how I should improve it. And then me and my brother, he helped me with the editing. And then I edited my manuscript, and then I pitched it back to her, and then she took it this time, like under another name and better edited. She sold it. I was at Panera at the time, and I was like, I think I'm gonna get like a half a sandwich because that's all I can afford. And then she showed me the email with the deal, and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get the whole sandwich because I can afford it now. So just you can throw in a soup, that'll be great. So then she got that. And I thought it was over. I was a superstar. I was gonna be having dinner with Stephen King. And I learned just like a valuable lesson of like setting expectations. And I started to work at Barnes and Noble. And on my lunch break, I would write what will become Discipline. The name wasn't Discipline at the time. And it took me 10 years to get it like off the ground, get it ready to submit, and actually physically to be an item from conception to it being out now. So this journey has been, I feel like Wile E. Coyote, like I'm slamming in the walls, stuff that's supposed to work doesn't work. I want to just sue Acme because it's just like none of the things that I've said were going to work were actually working. So for Discipline to exist is like I always say it's like a minor miracle.
Well, just that you didn't give up, and because I'm sure it's discouraging. You all have the stones to even try to pitch your books. I have never done that because I'm like, I already get rejected in other ways. I don't need someone else out here to tell me my book's not good enough. So, but I mean, to persevere through that and say, no, I'm going to take this and I'm going to do better according to their feedback. And then you won. I mean, that's winning to
Yeah,
me. That's so cool.
My first rejection, I
I
kept it.
love it.
I'm gonna put it in the frame. It says no. It said no, thank you. Like, and I said, if I can make it past this, I'm never gonna forget that. I'm gonna actually get it on a T-shirt, and I'm just gonna redact the agency. But they were like, it
Yeah.
said no dot thank you dot. I was like,
Wow.
okay.
Wow.
I use it every day. I look at it probably almost once a month just to remind me. And I keep my first two actual letters, that my rejection letters, they're like inside of my box next to my bed. I look at them every so often just to let me know like where I started and where I am now. So
Totally do not keep those.
I keep them. I kept them. I kept them. I'm serious. I was like, I'm gonna remember this. Just
Yeah.
I mean,
motivate.
I remember, but like I ain't hanging on to them. I just can't. I don't know. I can't. The worst though, Mark, is when you just get completely ghosted.
Oh, oh,
You have
oh,
no
that was
idea.
probably
They're
60%
like,
of the time.
you just never hear from them.
Yeah. Do I not exist? You're not gonna say anything back? Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we know that you had success that way, but what I want to talk about is you sell out these book signings and you book signings like all over the place. And tell us your secrets because
And
how do
how did you
you,
get started with that too?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm 100, like, I'm a psychopath. If I say that it's gonna happen, I believe it's gonna happen. I'm serious. Just funny, just
Right.
yeah,
unrelated, but I was like, I was watching, do you know the show Mayor of Easttown
Yes.
and Task? So I said, "You know what?" I said, "I gotta meet Brad," I forget his name. He's the creator. And I said, "You know what? I gotta meet Brad Inglesby, and I gotta meet him yesterday." So a magazine here in Delaware, they reach out to me, right? And I think it's spam. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and delete this email. Then I look the person up
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. They're real. So I'm like, oh, this is a legit magazine. So I'm in the magazine, right? So I
That's
go to a
nice.
coffee shop and the
wow,
magazine's in the coffee shop. I said, wow, that's cool. Wait, that's the one I'm in. So I pick it up and I'm flipping through it. I'm on page 33. He's on page 32. And I say, wow, where's he going to be at? Oh, he's going to be in Delaware. That's great. Let me go meet him. So I go, I'm in the front row, end of my book. Nothing would probably ever happen, right? But I don't care because in my mind, I said, I'm going to meet him somehow. He could have been in Utah. I may have taken, if he wasn't in Delaware, I was going to fly wherever he was just to say that I did it, right? Because that's how
To
locked
meet
in on
him.
my things that I
Yeah.
am. But how this tour thing started is very weird. How this tour thing started, I was watching like a documentary on Janet Jackson, and she was on tour for 3 years in between two of her albums. And I was like, wow, that's great. And I said, I want to be on tour for 18 non consecutive months, right? 6 months on tour, 6 months to write the next book, 6 months on tour again, right? So the first 6 months last year, I was on tour. The next 6 months, I took to write the next book in this series. And then I'm going to be on tour from right now to December. So the first two stores I called politely told me that I wasn't a big enough author for their store. So I went into my like little office, called my brother. I was angry. He told me to shut the hell up and start over. So I shut the hell up and I started over.
we love siblings for that.
And he's the best. And he never lets me like get too high or too low. And I said that what I said was I'm a lead title. No matter what anybody says, I'm important. My book is important. My book is important enough for me to do a tour. And I hedged all my bets. I researched the store. How far is this store from a mall? Is the store in a mall? Is this store, how often do other authors go to the store? How long do they stay at this store? And how many people like the status of them coming to that store? So all that analytical information lets me know, if I get 1% of the foot traffic that they got and they're a much bigger author than I am, then I can sell my stock. Because what I'm trying to do is I don't want the book just to be on the shelf to sit there. I want the book to be on the shelf to go off the shelf. Now, when you have a resume, fortunately for your first job, it's your first job. There is no resume, right? So I have to build a sales track record. So that first store was like, woo, that's the first store, right? Like, how well do I do at this store? So I just kept saying, I won't drive any longer than 2 hours. That was my cap. So
Okay.
everywhere was 2 hours in whichever direction. Where it really got crazy was I got invited to Houston with no plans to fly to Houston. Zero. They asked me, and I asked my assistant once again. I asked him, I said, do we have the resources to go to Houston? He said no, but we're still going. And good thing I did do that because they gave me the idea for the book that I just finished.
Wow.
Without that Q&A, I have nothing. I had nothing for this book in October of 2025 unless I go to this specific Q&A. So once I said, okay, this is what I'm dedicating to my tour efforts. Here's the money. Here is my food stipend, all the regular things that someone would be doing. What are my
Right.
hotel accommodations? Who do I know in this town? What can I afford to lose? And luckily for me, 19 out of the 26 times I did this, I sold all the stock. And for me, it wasn't like once I'm done with the store, goodbye, you're never going to hear from me again. Nope. I still visit the store and I still let people know that it exists in that store. So it's never like I'm always trying to figure out what can I do for the store instead of the inverse. Because you remember, the
That's
statistics say
great.
if somebody buys a signed book, they're going to buy another book. Is just math. They're like, oh, I got one, maybe I should get two. So now I'm a profitable, right? Like that means that if somebody comes in and gets it, they may get one or two other books that works for you and it works for me. So that's how I built like
Right.
what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it. And another quick thing is I wanted to start slow. Last year I made a conscious effort not to do any events with other authors. I wanted to get
Okay.
no festivals or anything. I wanted to do little small baby steps, right? I couldn't have done BookCon last year. I wouldn't have been ready because I
Yeah.
wouldn't have been mentally ready for the crowd. So all these little small steps, prepare me for this year where I'm gonna do more festivals and stuff. So
So
but
I'm
that's how
doing
I
it
started.
completely wrong.
No, you're
I'm
totally
going
fine.
right to the cons this year.
We're doing it's
Doing
opposite
it
day.
completely wrong.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Step it up.
But I like that idea though, and I think
Yeah.
listeners, yeah, take notes here because that makes a lot of sense. You're not competing with author clients or customers like going booth to booth and you're kind of getting lost. But do you think it's different though? I mean, you're traditionally published. So you've got help getting into some of these bookstores. I mean, for someone listening, because they're really catering to the author in their awkward sophomore year of indie publishing high school, where it's like they're not starting at zero, but they're kind of one or two books in and thinking, how would I possibly have that kind of opportunity? Or can they reach out to just smaller independently owned bookstores? Or is there a chance you can get into Barnes and Noble if you're indie?
I'm gonna reference him a lot in this conversation, but I'm gonna keep going back to my brother, right? Because he's a wealth of knowledge. He always says, whenever I'm scared of something, I go to him and I'm like, well, how do I get around this problem? He was like, start small, but do something. Any step taken
Right.
forward can be followed by another step. If you're stationary, you're not going anywhere. And what I mean is like, so I guess I went through self-publishing in college, right? Because I failed in every way you possibly can as far as in self-publishing and actually having a book that went absolutely nowhere, right? So even in this journey that I'm in now, there have been situations where the store buys the books up front. There have been times where I had to take my own books there and do consignment, right? I like a challenge. Like I have a challenge problem. So I remember I won't say the store name. So I went to a bookstore and I was like, okay, what's the protocol? They were like, you have to bring your own books and we're gonna do consignment. And I was like, hmm, we're gonna do consignment, are we? I'm gonna crush this into dust, right? So I show up with my books and I put my books down and I set up my whole setup. Looks like a whole crime scene. We blow through the entire stock in like 30 minutes. And every time the person at the register, they keep turning to me as if to say, are you forcing these people to do this? Because our regular day isn't like this. What are you telling them? So is there an ultimatum here? Or and by the time they turn around for the last time, the books are gone because I didn't come here, one, to play and not sell these books, because then it's like, we're not gonna waste our time next time this guy can't sell books. So it's all about
Right.
the biggest currency you have is relationships, right? Because even if you go to your neighborhood bookstore, your local indie, and you do consignment, they don't lose anything, right? It's just the time. If you go there from, let's just say you went there from 1 to 2, you sell a few books, that's great because you split with them, and then whatever you didn't sell, you take it back home. But they lost nothing, they gained and you didn't lose anything. So my only piece of advice in that way is to just reach out, do your the best research you can, and start wherever your path says start from. Because if you don't start, you're just stationary and nothing's happening. But you can build from something. When Discipline first came out, I was ice cold from an interest standpoint. No reviews, obviously, on Discipline. It just came out. No bookstores yet. No newsletter people. No tour setup, and no anticipation. I was cold as Mr. Freeze, but I had to start somewhere, and then that's how I got to where I am now.
Okay, so you've set yourself up at these bookstores, right? And you were talking about how discipline, nobody really knew. You didn't have a lot of lead up and fanfare and all that. So when you're going into a store, because I can relate to this, and you're setting up for your book and it's a new book, a new launch, all the things, how do you get those people in the door interested? Like, what are you doing or saying? How are you getting them to gravitate to you in the store?
I have an unfair advantage because I'm 6'3", and like
Okay, I was gonna say.
there
They
is
can't
no
avoid
like
you, is what you're saying?
no, it'd
I'm
be
five
hard to like
five. They can totally walk around me.
I'm just like a bookshelf standing there. But it's funny. This happens almost every time. This scenario I'm about to paint. So I'll come in the store and I have almost a movie poster size cutout of my book cover, right? So I'm holding it. That alone is like, what is this person bringing this into this store for, right? So I set it up and I'm standing there and the stock is right there. And then the person will come by and they're looking at me. And then I'll just start talking to them. And I'll usually sell my first book before I'm set up. It'll usually be somebody in line that looks over or somebody walking into the store past me, and then I'll just stop them, which is weird because I am an introvert. But when it's game time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in a different mindset. But I just try to talk to people and I try to be as hands off as possible, right? The one promise I made to myself is I am not a used car salesman, right?
Right.
I am not there to convince anyone to buy my book. I'm letting them know that's an option, right? They make every
Yeah.
decision after I say my pitch. So they'll come by and I'm like, let's just say they have books already. I'll say something like, wow, you came all the way to Barnes and Nobles and you just completely ignored my book. And I'm taking that personal. And they'll maybe laugh, and I'm like, well, since you're already right here, why don't you come out, and check this out? And they'll look, and then I'm off. I say nothing else. It's the board is so my name is huge on the cover, right?
Right.
Which
Okay. Yeah.
makes it seem like whoa, why is it that? The name's usually small, right? So they read it and I'll give my pitch, which is under 10 seconds. And then again, hands off, and they'll say, yes. They've picked the keyword, by the way. They've either picked serial killer, Philadelphia, or his name, which is Giuseppe, which is not like, it's not Greg or
Something
Tim,
Right.
or,
common.
right?
Mhm.
Uncommon. And so they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, that sounds good. And then they go ahead and they make the purchase. But I try my best to briefly engage with every person that comes in. And another thing I'll do is, let's say I don't catch them, I'm looking, that's where the 6-3 comes in. I'm looking to see what book you pick up. Now I know all the new releases. So, and my eyesight is impeccable. So from across the room, I saw you pick up Iron Wood by Michael Connolly. Me and Michael Connolly write the
Mhm.
same genre. 99.9% of the time, if you're reading that, you may in your mind, there's nowhere I can see every color. I know the colors. Somebody picked up like Geneva Rose, right? And I knew the book by color, not even by
Yeah,
title.
I do that too.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I said, "Wow, you like didn't you know?" So it's just the engaging conversation thing, and I think sometimes people have never seen a author signing at their particular store, so to be like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, I went to it doesn't exist anymore. I went to Books a Million in Laurel, Maryland, and a
Mm.
person they said to me one of the most humbling things I've ever heard. I've been waiting for 2 days for you to come here. I already brought the book before, and authors don't come here. So this is really cool for me. And I've chatted into a million pieces on the sidewalk. If you go back there, I'm probably still on the sidewalk. So it's just that like that almost communal sort of thing. Cause if you're
Hmm.
in person, then you can, you know, buy into me versus if I'm behind the computer. So I just think that you
Right.
Right.
have to, just letting people know you're a person, I guess is a
Yeah.
Hmm.
way to say it.
Yeah. Exactly. No, and I think too, my question building on that is, I'm over here thinking you've got to be like giving away like Springsteen tickets to like people to come to your table. I will come clean your house for a week if you will just come talk to me. That's what I feel like I have to do. But is your tables pretty? Is it just kind of the banner? Do you have a bunch of swag, or is it just you, your books, the banner, and this whole approach? Is
I'll
that
tell
what
you,
it is?
I'll tell you two things, both ends of the spectrum. So at first I was like, I have to have everything. So my setup was the table, whatever tablecloth they have, yellow caution tape crisscrossed at the bottom of the table. Yellow is one of the most attractive eye colors. Red is number
Hmm.
one. Then on the table, I have a light up pencil. You can imagine the base is a circle and the pencil's going down and the lights up that. And I had two crime scene markers, which are yellow. It just says 1 and 2. And I have my board, which is either behind me or to the left, however the store is set up. So usually that's my normal setup. It looks like a crime scene, right? But then I've had
Ooh,
events
that's so
where it's
cool.
just me and the books. And my number one rule is unless I'm tired, I don't sit down. So I don't wait for
I
people
got
to
you.
come to me. I always approach them as gently as I possibly can. So I always say, when you guys are done browsing the store, I'm right here when you need me. Right. So it's always they are making the decision to either come back to see me or not. Some people come back, some people don't. The people that come back usually buy the book, and the people that don't probably weren't going to anyway. So it's always this I'm letting you know my book exists, not that you have to buy it right now. But I'm only going to be here until blank amount of time, so it's up to you. So that's kind of how I look at it.
I like that. Do you think readers are really buying at in-person events beyond the book itself, though? Because I think, too, they're probably buying into the conversations they're having with you.
Absolutely, because a lot of times I'll have aspiring authors,
Yeah,
I'll have, people that are interested, like how I got to this point, like because it's not a, it's it, you know, it's pretty cool, when you go and you're at the store and people can see you because they automatically it's like, what arm or leg did this person give to be able to do a signing at this store? I know it's not easy to get in here, so I think they do buy in. They buy into the journey because my journey, like it took me 10 years to write this book from conception to handing it to them. That's a story. You buy into
right.
that thing. And I think as somebody that lived through that very long period of time, And to be able to go back, I went back to the store that I worked at while I was working on it. Last year, I went to back to that store and did 3 book signings, and we sold out every time. One was, I think I went on Father's Day weekend. That was awesome. All the fathers brought it. Then we then I went in October, was like close to Halloween, so it was like that kind of worked. And then I went back in December, a week before
Mhm.
Christmas, and it was a Christmas gift. So it's always strategic if you can get it to line up that way, because now you're attaching this gift to this gift day. So that's a little sales
That's
bump as
nice.
well.
How do you determine how many books to bring? Like, what does selling out mean? Because I
So
am in the process, Mark, just to tell you. I'm going to a book con in Chattanooga. I'm in Tennessee. And I'm like all over the place about how many books to bring. And I have several books, but they're short reads. And I'm just like, I don't know how many. And everybody's like, bring the first of every series, a little bit more. And I'm like, that tells me nothing. Like
nothing.
20? 10? Like, how many should I bring? Like, how do you determine that?
In my head, right, it's like, what do I need to make my money back? Like, what did I spend to get here? How much profit would I like to make, right? Because for me, so
Okay.
like let's say I use Bookana as an example, then I'll use like Barnes and Noble. So let's say I go to Barnes and Noble and they buy the books. I think one time I went and they bought like 75 books, right? That particular store is in a mall and they set me next to the entrance, right? People are going to walk by this store just because you have to come into the mall and pass this store. I went out the door and brought people in, right? So, excuse me. So that's, over the course of a few hours, we're going to sell the stock and there's nothing to send back, right? But with BookCon, I was like, oh, maybe should I ship a case of books? I'm like, okay, I'm not. It doesn't really. It's not a lot, so I just ship it forward, right? And I'm like, I make my hour. Only had to pay like gas and tolls. Then that's a low bar to clear, right? If I sell a few books, I'm making back my gas and tolls, which is you may have paid a few hundred, right? So let's just say, how long are you going to be there at the book con?
It's it's just a Saturday event, but I go in on Friday night. They have a Friday event
And how long
for
you say you'd be there?
people.
Like a few hours?
Oh, just a few hours. It's like from 11 to like 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
I'm thinking you gotta bring 50 books at least, right? Like I think you could do like, yeah,
Okay. I'm glad my husband's coming with me because he'll help
yeah.
carry.
I go to the post office like every at this
Well,
like
and maybe
probably,
that gives you energy, if you've got 50.
yeah. Books are heavy.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are. They
Yeah.
are heavy, right?
Yeah.
And if you bring any hardbacks, they're heavier.
Oh my gosh, you might as well be carrying stones. Yeah, yep.
right.
At least
Yeah.
I
Right?
would say, yeah.
Yeah, it's
'Cause then if
50.
you sell them,
Okay, that's
right?
good for me.
If you sell all of them, they're gone. Now you're
Yeah,
fine, you know? You don't have to take it.
yeah.
I never want the store to send books back, and I never wanna have to take books back home. Like,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
my mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, this'll be
No,
fun
I
to
think that's a
figure
good
out.
I think it's good to think of it, May is where we do deeper dives into like running your author business like a small business. And sometimes we're creative, so we're just out here like, I don't know. I mean, I'll just get the vibe, whatevs. Like it'll come to me. No. We've gotta like get strategic, right?
Right.
And mindset. If I bring 50, that's my goal. I am challenging myself to sell out all 50 books. What do I need to do to sell this 50 so that I can make X and then I've made back Y? Sometimes it's reframing our mindset. If you only bring 25 and you sell out, then you're wondering, well, maybe I could have sold another 20.
Another thing too, right, is, I thought about every position inside of a publishing house, and I figured that I should be able to know how to either monetize it or know what they do, right? Because if I'm gonna run this like a business, then I need to know every aspect of this entire thing. Like, what does the art direction guy do? What are the people in marketing do? What are they doing? Like, how are they getting how are they getting like visibility? The world we live in now with like it's no longer monoculture, right? Like we're not all watching, I don't know, shows. Let's just say that, we're all not watching Friends, right, at the same time at
Right.
7 o'clock, right? You'll
Right.
have a show over here that's really popular to you and your friends, so it's all fractured and fragmented, right? So you just have to think like,
Mhm.
who are the tastemakers in the book world, and how do you get to them? I was my mindset was just in the beginning was just totally wrong for the times, and now I understand a little bit more of like how to move in those circles because you have to gain visibility, right? It's very difficult I don't care how many, it could be 12. You have to sell 12 books to 12 different personalities, right? And then think of it from their standpoint. They're buying from an author, they're buying a book they don't know from an author they never heard of. You have to do something to
Right.
get them to even get in the mindset of giving you a shot. So I think it's and although I sell out, it's incredibly difficult to get people to part with what may have taken them an hour to make. So I think about that
Yeah.
all the time, so yeah.
What do you see authors not doing well or leaving money at the table or opportunities that they're missing as you've been going to these events and these bookstores? Are there things you've observed other authors doing that you're like, what a shame. They shouldn't be doing that?
Some some people aren't comfortable talking to other people. I don't think you should
Yeah.
True.
just like, I've been in customer
Yeah.
service, unfortunately, for,
Mhm.
Or
for
Yeah.
fortunately.
unfortunately, for a long time, right? So I remember
Yeah.
my first customer service job, I got on the phone and my first phone call, they called me like a not so nice name, and, that reasserted my like, I was like, "Oh, this is what people are like over the phone where they can say whatever they want and you can't respond."
Right.
So
Hmm.
I was like, "Okay, I kinda see the psyche of people and flying off the handle and just kinda getting, like, an understanding of, like, customer service." But when I'm face to face with people, that gave me, like, an opportunity to be like, "Okay, this is how I conduct myself in these sort of situations." But sometimes I've been, with other authors, they're not comfortable just speaking to a person, just a random, because I was doing the I
Person.
was I love this guy. I was at a signing with a guy, an older gentleman, so we were side by side, and if a person walked up to the table, he would say something to them, but he would just let the people go by. Now, at this point, I'm getting antsy, right? Because I'm like, I didn't come all of this way to get ignored. So I think I went all the way. I started going outside. I went to the cafe. Hey, we're doing the book signing, and at
Yeah.
your leisure, come check us out. But I think that's the biggest thing of like, not saying you have to be again a used car salesman, but just getting in the habit of just saying hello if when you see somebody, or
Mhm.
making eye
Yeah.
contact. Because if you sit there, I can guarantee you 100% people will go right by you. And I
Yeah.
think that's the
Absolutely.
biggest, because I stand up.
Yeah.
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 I have to use my
I
height as
think
an
even
advantage.
just yeah, and just your energy and your presence, just saying going up to someone and saying, "Hello, there's a book signing," something is so simple, but that getting people's attention. But I've hosted author events and I've seen authors, they have one book, the books aren't upright, there's no signage, and they're sitting there and either on their phone or sort of behind, body slunched. You're sending those nonverbals and you're putting out that barrier that, like, you can talk to me, I guess, but that person at that book signing didn't sell one book because they just kind of sat there. Whereas the others who were standing and kind of coming out a little bit, not in a way that, like you said, that you're gonna scare people. I mean,
Right.
sometimes I'm introvert, extrovert. I'm like, hey, can we be friends? What's up? And people are like, calm down. You gotta balance it, right? You can sometimes extroverts, I can be too in your face. And I had to learn that to like, let's just relax. But those people sold more, hands down. So you got to gauge your comfort level,
Yes.
but maybe you're not ready if you can't talk to people or start that conversation, you know?
I went to TN LitCon as a reader. I just wanted to see how things went. And I did see some authors use stickers and things as conversational pieces, like just to hand them out, say,
Mm.
like, what tropes do you like? And here, have a sticker or something of that nature in order to get people to talk. Mark, do you ever do that? Do you hand people like bookmarks or anything like that in order to get just conversations rolling, or is that just a natural, intuitive thing for you from your customer service days?
It probably leans more to my customer service because I'm always like it's retail, right? And I worked in a bookstore too, 2 bookstores. So the lingo that I might use, it's always like bookstore appropriate. Like it always like, oh, I see you going over to whichever section they're going to, or that sort of thing. So it comes naturally because I was in that situation probably I think combined like 2 years. So I kind of know what to say to people when they walk in the store if I wasn't selling the book, because I had to sell other books. People would come in the store and be like, "Hey, do you have the gray book?" I don't know what book they're talking about, 50 Shades of Grey, but they would just say the gray book because they didn't want people to know that they're coming in to get to 50 Shades. So I'm
Love
like,
it.
just discreetly come
You
and
know
take
that one.
the one book. It's just, the book. So it was, it was, it, that's, it, for me, it's natural.
I love it.
Yeah. So I got to talk about threads real quick. We got to talk about threads because, well, I want to know why it seems like, well, I'm not on other social platforms with you. You may be just as active, but Threads feels different to me than just Instagram or Facebook. And I want to know why you like it. But this gentleman here went from, I remember, because I looked you up in the beginning and
I
I
know
was
what
like,
you're going to say.
300. I was like, nanny boo boo. I have 400 followers. He only has 300, whatever. And then in a blink, this man has like 12,000 people. How? But you post a lot and you're in these
Yeah. You're
conversations.
active and
But
you're
yeah, tell
funny.
us your
Thank
threads
you.
secret. Well, I know he announced he was getting
You
a
are so
divorce or
funny.
something. And I was like, we gotta. And it was not that.
Let me tell you about
he,
Yeah.
social. Let me tell you about social media. So I wrote an article probably like 6 months ago, and I basically the gist of it was like, I have never been the first to market to anything. Facebook came out in 2004. I signed up in 2007. Twitter came out in 2009. I signed up in 2012. Instagram came out in 2010. I signed up in 2014. TikTok came out whenever it came out. I signed up late. You kind of getting the
yeah,
where the
yeah,
bad
Yeah.
Threads came out July 2023. I was on that day
I was
one,
there.
right?
Yep.
So it was a 2 week period, maybe a couple years ago. I cut all my social media. I said I'm not doing this anymore. None of the things that I'm doing are working. I've done the YouTube tutorials. I've mimicked people. I've done the thing. This sucks. I'm not doing it. Threads comes along and I say, you know what? Wow, another social media platform that I can fail at. Let's see how hard I can fail at this one. I go over there and you can import your Instagram followers. I said, oh, I'll go ahead and import the Instagram followers. And they come over and it's like, they're doing the same nothing that we're doing on Instagram. This sucks over here too. So I'm just, first 6 months, I'm a duck out of water. I'm like posting, it's not working. I don't know what I'm doing. Then I talked to my brother and I said, this new site isn't working either. I'm over it. And he was like, stop trying to be other people and just be you. There is not another
Hmm.
you. Stop. And I listened to him and I just was like, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. I have no playbook or no script. And I'm just going to, if I'm not having fun, then I'm not gonna do this. And I have no idea because I remember being at like I was like, oh man, I
Yeah.
have 1,000 followers. I was like, man, maybe this is gonna be something. And I just what I did that I didn't do with any of the other sites? I learned the site's algorithm. I didn't learn Twitter's algorithm. I didn't know what it was, but I learned what people want from me. And anything of consequence that I've gotten in my author journey has come from threads. I never studied any of the other sites. I didn't know. I had no idea. anything of consequence in
Right.
my
Mhm.
author journey came from Threads. My newsletter, when I started the tour, other authors, independent bookstores, direct to consumer sales. None of that stuff happened on any other platform. And I guess the greatest thing you can do on Threads is, yes, I can post a video, but I don't have to. I can I can
Right.
just I can just post. I can post 10 times in a row. And at this point, I kind of know what Marquise, my name that my mother gave me or my brother gave me. I know what works for me, not necessarily what it might not work for somebody else.
Right.
I know exactly what does not work for me. I've learned that over the course of not being on Threads. So now that I have like this domain where I can kind of like hold court, it works in all the ways that maybe I was trying to do it outside of this, and all of my skill set works in this arena that may not work outside of it. So I just lean into it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it really fits you and what
Yeah.
you needed out of it, and it became fun. I think that's a problem for me right now. Like the things I thought were fun are no longer fun and it's just more work. And I'm like, so why do I do this? I think I need to be writing, right? Like if
Yeah.
so it's just one of those things where I feel like you have to kind of play because otherwise there's no discoverability, but I don't give to it as much as I used to anymore.
A lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Well, Threads, I kind of like the rules because they don't really like video. They don't really want videos over there. They just want, it's like just, we just want to talk to each other. They like the conversations or a dog picture, or something. Or, okay, no, here's Threads. Here's Threads. This woman posted, I'm redecorating. Which one should I go with? And it was a trash can. One had a yellow bag in it, the picture, and the other had the white bag in the trash can. Which one should I do in this space? I saw it at 50,000 likes. And I was like, is this it? That's all you have to do. It's like, hey guys, which chicken do you like better? You like mellow rooster or you like this hen here? Or bro cruise. I don't know if you saw bro cruise happening, Mark. This woman just posted about this bachelor party that did no planning. One guy didn't even have tickets to the cruise and he got on and it was just like a comedy of errors. And it was like for days just going viral. And I'm like, I think that's what it is. It's we just be a part of something, whereas like Instagram, it's all just doom scrolling, you know?
Let me
I don't
tell
know.
you let me tell you like a funny story about Threads. So I have seen both ends of Threads. What I mean is I've had a post do 92 views,
Mhm.
3,000 views, 150,000 views, and 1,000,000 views, right? So what's funny about all of them is every part of those views has sold me books, right? So I was like, how the hell can someone get
Yeah.
1,000,000 views, right? It was like it's a I forget the thing that did the 1,000,000 views, but what was happening was for some reason they suggested it to Instagram people. So Instagram, whoever saw it there, they watched it, then Threads people watched it. And I was like, is this gonna go 1,000,000? That's weird. So it didn't. And I was like, this is crazy. I should have put my link on it. I messed the whole thing up. So my sister, she passed away like in COVID. And one day I
Oh,
just
I'm
was,
so sorry.
yeah, I would thank you. I just was thinking about her. And I had posted it. And the same day I think was able to do something, just off of book sales. And I thought it was pretty cool. And I posted it. And when I got up the next morning, my phone was going off because the orders were coming in. And I had forgotten what I wasn't paying attention. I had just went to sleep. And I got up and that was my like highest selling day. And it wasn't just the direct to me sales, it was on Amazon too. So I think the lowest I've ever gotten on Amazon, I want to say, and there's 7,000,000 books, right? I was
Yeah,
12,000, which is ridiculous, and I think I had like 100 orders that day. And
That's
that's nice.
amazing.
I was blown. I think that post had 50,000. That post had more likes than I have on my Instagram, and I've been on Instagram forever. 50,000
Yeah.
likes. You can't
It's
do that on
wild.
another platform. You can't do it.
No,
No.
you can't.
I went to the post
No, and
office. I went to the post office and I held up the line because there was nothing I could do. They had to go get somebody from the back to come out and work the other line because
Get the books.
this poor lady has to ship 100 books.
oh my
But
gosh.
that's the power of threads.
Wow. It is. And I think sometimes it's not even, you can post about your book all day, and that's sometimes crickets. It's when you're like, hey, do you ever, when birds are flying overhead, do you ever just secretly think, please don't poop on me? And you can like say that,
Bestseller.
and that's what, but sell it. That's what people like. I sold a few books by making a stupid comment sometime on someone else's, and I was like, I had like 4 sales today. Like, that was so
Admit,
weird.
I look for those comments. Like I've become that person where I love, and you're the one that turned me onto it, Angela, like Wendy's and like other
Yeah.
people. They
All
make
the brands.
the best comments. People stop all the
Yeah.
time.
You know what else it does that other sites don't do? I'll give you an example. Let's say you guys post chicken, chicken thighs are better than chicken breasts, right? And
Watch out.
I comment on your post and I say, blasphemy, potato chips are better than both, right?
Right.
That comment is seen by anybody who follows me, and it might get more views than your original post. That happened
That's
to
what's
me.
crazy. Yeah.
I made a post,
Yeah.
right? And then I was like, why is this innocuous post? Why is this post getting, views?
You're
It
like,
was
what did
because
I comment about potato chips?
Yeah.
somebody commented on my post, and because they're bigger than I am, I think they have like 250,000 followers. Because of that, they boosted the post so much. Their views were almost bigger than the views on my original post. So it's like, it's fragmented in that way that your discoverability hinges upon not only what you say, but how you comment and what you comment on.
One.
So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun
Well,
platform.
yeah. That's why I don't. Cassie's always sick of me because I was like, do you know what happened on Threads this week? And she's like, what?
I'm like, no,
A lot has happened this week. So
I know.
My gosh. Yeah. So I'm always the Threads roster. So, well, I think we could talk for like 6 more hours, but we can't keep Mark forever. So we want to thank you for being here today. We have one more thing to ask you.
sure. Thank you guys.
That's our Lumatory conversation card. Okay. What is something that was cool when you were a child, but isn't cool now?
Going
So
outside.
many things. Going outside.
Go,
Staying up late?
yes. All the things that I thought that I loved as a youth. No, I want to go to bed at a decent hour. I want to
Right.
stay at home and be a recluse. Just all the things that I felt that I wanted. I just want to
Right.
just read and drink my coffee and be left alone. But no, that's the number one thing. No one wants to go outside. Oh, it's all. I told somebody the other day, I said, you know what, man? We used to be a proper country. You would go to the mall and
Yeah.
you would get a Cinnabon, maybe a
Get your
magazine.
Annie's pretzel. Yeah.
First and foremost, the magazine is digital. And anything you can get from the mall, you can have shipped to your house. What do you
I
need to
know.
leave the house for now?
Dangerous. Right.
Yes, very
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah.
I can
I know.
DoorDash right now. I can be like, I want orange Julius, and it'll come right to the door. It's
Anything that pops in your brain. I just want a big pickle, and I'm going to DoorDash it, and it'll arrive. Like, I mean, yeah, that's the dangerous part. Yeah,
Mhm.
like going out to parties. When I was a kid, I was always like, I can't wait.
Mhm.
And now I'm like, canceled plans are the best plans.
if you need to cancel, I'm your guy. Like we don't have to do it. Oh, man, that's high
Yeah.
level, man. Thank you. You are so generous. I appreciate
I
you
know.
canceling.
Right. We're all thinking people, if we cancel, people are gonna just be like, oh, that stinks. They're probably like, yes, thank God they canceled.
Yeah. I didn't want to
Like,
go
God, I
anyway.
didn't want to go out.
I
Yeah,
didn't
I
know.
know. Why do we even make plans? I don't know. But yeah, yeah.
Mine is getting dressed up. My favorite thing is my friends or my daughter when they're like, can we go out and just do comfy clothes? Or can I just come over in comfy clothes? Do I have to dress up for Easter? And now I'm at the stage of life of, hell no. Bring your house shoes. Like, I don't care. You don't even have to bring the bra if you don't want to wear it. Just do it. Come on. Like, I'm at that stage. Like, I do like to dress up every now and then, but the requirement of like when I was younger, it was like you dressed for church, you dressed up for this. Now it's like yoga pants are a statement and they are a fashion item and it's
You can
okay.
accessorize them with a fanny pack. I mean, I don't know.
If I
I'm
can go
just
somewhere,
saying, I love
if I
it.
can go somewhere wearing slippers, I'm golden. That's fine for me. I don't care. I want to be comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
I want you to do a book signing in your bunny slippers, like just bunny slippers with the ears and and then when someone looks at them, just be like, what?
This
What
is
are
the
you?
style.
I have unicorn slippers. Not lying.
Yes.
I would totally do it. If I'm going to be standing like Mark says,
Yes. You have to be comfortable. Yes.
I need to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't need me scratching and pulling, okay? I just gonna be, right? Okay. Anyway, we're veering into other territory. Anyway, listeners, thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to give us a review or rating wherever you listen to the podcast. It really helps us with visibility. And if you're interested in joining us in our romance corner, the author next door after dark, this month we're talking about emotional wounds and how it gives depth to romance. Until then, keep writing, keep doing, and we'll see ya.
Bye. We're so glad you joined us for this episode of The Author Next Door.
Writing is a long game, and it's one best played with community, curiosity, and a little grace for yourself along the way.
Keep showing up, keep learning, and keep telling stories only you can tell.
We'll see you next week, right here next door.